Hello, this is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel. Very excited to have Eugene on the channel today. He's going to give us a tour of his Class C RV, so join us.
Hey Patrick, it's great to meet you. I've learned so much from your videos. A lot of that knowledge has applied right what we have here today. I can't wait to show you how big this RV is on the inside based on a Mercedes Sprinter chassis. I did some spectacular upgrades across the board to really make it highly functional and really enjoyable to use. This is all based around a 2020 Jayco Melbourne 24L on the Mercedes chassis. It's a dually and it has the diesel 3-liter, 188 horse and 325 torque, which is really enough power to put this wherever you want to go. Let's start on the outside and I'll show you a couple of upgrades that I did and some of the function that you get with this unit. This is a fiberglass body and it's a dually like I mentioned before, and one of the important things is that when you get these, they don't come with a way to check the tire pressure on the inner tire, so I added the extender valves. Also, this the horn on these Mercedes Sprinters is, you would think it would be on a Volkswagen Beetle. It's very small, so I upgraded the horns. I tried some air horns and it wasn't enough. So then somebody said, you need a train horn. So they installed a 2-gallon air tank with a compressor, and the air horns are underneath. You can see the trumpets back there. They also give you an air chuck, and that gives you the ability to hook up a hose to it and use it to blow up rafts, inflate your tires. You could put an air chuck on it and you can clean things out, and it's really functional. This gives you the ability to install a external grill so you don't have to grill inside. The windows here are awning style windows, frameless. It's really a good look. They're well tinted, so when it rains you could open up the windows and still have some cross ventilation. They also give you a porch light, and that's yellow so it doesn't attract bugs. Down here, this is where you have access to your propane tank. It's very easy to fill. You have a gauge and a shutoff valve. I just went through the channel on the Chesapeake and they asked me to turn off the propane and allowed me to continue on. I came out, twisted it off, and it's very convenient. This is the furnace exhaust. This is for the refrigerator functionality. There's a gigantic awning that has LED lights and comes across and gives you a lot of shade. It's really a great function. This is sort of a safety feature for me, so if there's a minor fender bender in the back of the RV, I don't have to worry too much. You could see that there's a backup camera which I upgraded. It has night vision and it's tied into the new dash electronics that I put, which we'll review in a second. I also have a WeBoost cellular antenna, which is a great, one of the best upgrades, one of my favorite things, because when you have one cell, one bar, and you can't really get any signal, that will bring it up to at least 3 bars, and then I can watch videos, and it's really fun. Now we're coming to one of my most favorite upgrades of the whole unit. A lot of people shy away from RVs with slides because they malfunction a lot. So I had all the slide mechanisms replaced on this RV. This is a full wall slide. A full wall slide, it's very big, and it would not coordinate incorrectly. It would wrench and it would get jammed up, and it's very scary when that happens. So I went to Vroom System Slides. You can see the URL there. I went to that company, scheduled with them, and they replaced the slides, the motor up top, and the rod that goes down. And when you see the comparison of hardware from the old to the new, it's really a tremendous upgrade. Now I have no reservations to use this slide. I use it with confidence and I use it all the time. Now we have some storage. This is highly functional because you always need your plug-in, and I use a Hughes surge protector that will give you a lot of codes and tell you how your power is, whether it's clean or not, because if something happens at the campground and you get a surge, you'll do thousands of dollars of damage into your RV. So it's very important to get a surge protector. This is the wet bay here. I have more hoses, and I also replaced the black and gray valves. They originally were too long, and they went up in, and they bunched them together, and they binded up over time. So I had those replaced. I also added a backup gate at the end of the waste valve here, a Valterra, which you can get anywhere, and there's a cap. Have your 30 amp shore power plug-in, and then that I use all the cable and the surge protector for. And then it's a little bit inconvenient when the slide is out, but I do have the biggest storage is right here. And you could put a lot of things in there, and they're all illuminated too, which is great. We'll move on to the generator, and this is such a valuable feature. This is an Onan 3600 watt generator. It's liquid propane from Onan, and it runs everything in the RV. I also have stabilizer feet so that when you step into the RV, it doesn't sway back and forth and can make you a little seasick. And those are those work really well because it just makes the RV more comfortable, and they lift automatically once you start the RV. This is the, of course, the driver's seat, and this is where you fuel. So it's diesel, like I mentioned before. And one of the advantage is that when you start to fuel, they give you the option to close the driver door so that you don't get fumes in the coach. Also, on top of the slide is a slide awning, and it really is important to have. When you open the slide and you're parked at a campground, pine needles, pine cones, sticks, and debris will fall on top of the slide, and then when you close it, you get that debris in your coach, and then it can also disrupt the mechanism. So a slide awning is very important. Now, another really enjoyable and very important upgrade that I made on this Mercedes was to upgrade the headlights to LED. They were originally just a filament type bulb, and they were very dim, they were yellow. I remember when I first started driving the RV, I keep fiddling with the lights to see if they were even on. So now I have two bright and regular lights, and they're not too disruptive. People don't bright me when they're working, and it's a great upgrade. So this RV is only 24 foot long, but it gives a lot of advantages. One is that it's easy to maneuver. I can park this in a single spot with overhang over the grass, and that's a huge advantage. It's also very easy to drive, and really what everybody is very interested in is the efficiency of the motor on the road, and that's a big deal with this Mercedes diesel. I can average around 14 miles per gallon, and that's tremendous for the size that you're about to see. Let's go inside and see how big the coach really is. Welcome to the Escape Pod. This has 3 sleeping berths, a full functional kitchen, a bath with a shower, a refrigerator, freezer, microwave, convection oven, and all the storage that you need. The ventilation is tremendous. There's a lot of room. You can even expand the coach by swiveling the driver and passenger seats, and it also comes with a smaller table that goes here. I mainly use the dinette here for my workstation, and I process my pictures that I take as I go across the country. The sleeping berth up top is highly functional. Right now I have it flipped up so that it makes it very easy to transition into the driver's seat. But when you put this back, this is another sleeping berth. I have my foldable e-bike up there. There's a television that swivels out, and this is the antenna for WeBoost. So it takes the signal from the roof, it amplifies it in the coach, and rebroadcasts it inside, where you go from just 1 bar to up to 3 bars. And it's really helpful, and I'm so glad I bought it. It's one of my favorite upgrades. I also upgraded the dash electronics, which give you Apple CarPlay. There's built-in GPS, and you can also view the backup camera with this unit. It gives you a constant view of what's behind you, and it's very functional, really great. You know, as you know, these coaches, these Sprinter chassis have 10 cup holders. I don't know why. There's 4 on the dash, there's 4 in the middle, and then there's 2 more on either door. And the matting works really well. The seats are very comfortable. Now this is a 2020 chassis, and in 2019 Mercedes upgraded this chassis to a 7-speed automatic transmission, but they also upgraded the seats, which is very functional. I just came from the Outer Banks and drove up to Pennsylvania, and I gave myself too much time to drive, but these seats held up really, really well. Now this is the dinette. So this is the second sleeping berth. So obviously the table goes down, a cushion goes across that I keep in the closet, and this is another bed. But this is my main workstation and where I eat. Then you have, here's the cabinetry. There's a pull-out pantry. And I have all my coffee, which is very important, and and there's big cabinet space here. There's also 4 drawers that hold a lot of gear and clothes that you need, and there's also drawers underneath here. So I have an electric heater, and then I have some other tools that I bring along. You always need a vacuum, a flashlight, and a drill, and some other parts just in case for any kind of you know, maintenance or fixing that you have to do on the road, but I rarely use it because this coach has been just flawless. So one of the other great advantages to this floor plan is that even when the slide is in, you still have all the room you need to use all the functionality of the RV. In some of the B-class vans, you can't pass 2 people, but when this slide is in, you can pass 2 people, you can open the drawers, there's a lot of aisle space, you have full access to the kitchen, the refrigerator, the bathroom. The only thing you lose when the slide is pulled in is the bed folds up and you don't use the queen size bed, but I have the option of 2 other sleeping berths. So let's look at some of the electronics in the coach. So you have here a 13,500 BTU air conditioner that will run off the generator or shore power. You also have a built-in TV antenna for the TV, and you can turn it around and pick up stations as you go, but I mainly use data over cellular, and I don't watch much TV. Now, here's the generator turn on switch. It only has 44 hours on it. This is the slide. This is all your tanks. And this is tank heaters if needed. This will shut off the water pump. And this is 2 ways to heat up the water. You could do it via your propane built in, or you could do it via electric if you're plugged into shore power. Then you have simple lights. This is your outside light. This is the inside light. And you have an outlet. And then you have, this coach comes with stabilizers as we saw outside. So you lower them with this switch. This is the power step and the awning. So you could turn the power step off so it doesn't come out. This is a carbon monoxide filter. This is the main power for the coach. If you're going to store this away, you could turn off the main power, and then there's no parasitic draw from the batteries. Now, the batteries that came with this coach, there was only 1 lead acid battery, but I really needed more power for the lights and fan, so I upgraded the battery section to 2 AGM batteries, and that was another really great upgrade. Very important to make it easy to use this RV. Now here's the kitchen section. It comes with a 2-burner stove. It has a convection microwave and a lot of drawer storage underneath. Here's the refrigerator. Funny thing about this Norcold refrigerator, it kept popping open when I was going down the road. I called up Norcold and they sent me 2 little plastic shims to put under the bottom hinge to lift it up into the lock more. Now it always stays locked. And I also use the Brita water, which is really great. I chill the glass and the water and I get cold, fresh water every time. And then there's a fully functioning ice box. So I also have a vent, and this vent works really well. It makes it so you don't have to use the air conditioner a lot of times. Now I have a cover in there with Reflectix to keep the heat out, but when you turn this on and you feel the draw from the window, it really makes it very comfortable in here with these fans. I also have one in the bathroom. So now we're going to talk about another great piece of technology for RVs. This is the Icy Breeze air conditioner. It works really well. If we can go back up to the freezer for 1 second, I'm going to show you some of the, instead of putting ice in it, and I'll show you how it works in a second, I put these silver ice packs in it, and now it allows that air conditioner to work for more than 8 hours. You put those ice packs in the cooler and you put a little bit of water in it. It has 2 motors in it. It has a water pump and it has a heat exchanger. And then it has a fan that blows it out. And I direct this right at the bed, and it keeps you cool at night. In an instance where you can't really run the generator because it's disruptive to other RVers, I use Harvest Host a lot, and they don't want to use the generator because it's right next to their home. And this saved a lot of functionality. Here's the battery that goes in. I have a few extra batteries, and it simply turns on with this dial, and it works really, really well. It keeps you cool. Now, this is the queen size bed. It's a walk-around bed, which is a big advantage. There's cabinets up above, and you get a lot of room here. You also have the ability to put a TV here, but like I said, I don't watch much TV, and that's fine. Now, when you close the slide, you just fold this up, and then the slide will come in. And you also have a good privacy curtain here because you do have 3 sleeping berths, and you can close this and get just a little bit of privacy for whoever else you have in the coach. Let me tell you about the bathroom in this coach. A lot of RVs have really small bathrooms, but this one is highly functional and all the room that you need. Let me show you. It's not a wet bath. You have a full-on shower. You have medicine cabinet. You have storage underneath. You have an outlet here. The light and fan switches on the wall. And a really great feature of this bathroom is that you have a window that opens and you have a vent fan with a big fan. This is one of the other things I upgraded. They had a small 5-inch fan, and I had them put a Air Max fan in, and it really works well. You also have air conditioning that comes into the bathroom, and you have a heat duct that works off the furnace into the RV, and that makes it comfortable at night. You're not all cold, and it just works really well. The black tank on this RV that is fed from the toilet is 31 gallons. There's also a 31-gallon gray tank that gets fed into from the sink, the bathroom sink, and the shower. The water tank, which is underneath the bed, and if I can show that to you real quick, there's a very important thing that I did to this RV. The water tank is 40 gallons. It's 43 gallons, and then there's another 6 gallons in the hot water tank. Now, as people know, those gauges up on the dash never work right. So what I did was I took this panel off, and so I could physically see the water tank, which is under here. And they put it under here because it keeps the water from freezing if it gets really cold. Past the electronics is the 43-gallon water tank. And to have access to it this way, you get a positive read on how much water you have, and that's very, very important, because even on one of the high-end A-class RVs, they always have problems with reading the sensors that are in these tanks. And this 43-gallon water tank gives you the ability to boondock for at least 4 or 5 days, and that's really tremendous. And that's one of the metrics I always look for when buying an RV, when looking at RVs.
Eugene, thank you very much for taking the time today to give us a tour of your awesome RV. Just to kind of recap things for the viewers, you are a solo traveler.
Yeah.
And you're not full-time, but you do travel quite extensively.
Yeah.
What are some of the stops along the way?
Okay, so I lived in New Jersey for a long time, and I retired down to Florida. And now I've been traveling around the country with the RV, taking pictures of majestic landscapes and wildlife, and it's been so enjoyable. So I get a lot out of this RV. I find it to be so functional. I never desire any other features to be built in. It's very maneuverable, it's very efficient, and it's very big on the inside. And that combination of features really worked well for me, and it's some of the items that I looked for as I watched Patrick's video, and all the things that I learned I applied into this purchase, and and it's been tremendous. This workstation here works really well for me. I process my pictures here. I use a drone, a 360 camera, and an SLR, and I post onto my social media. And this really, it was a dream come true for me. Now, I started in Florida, came up the East Coast, stopped at the Outer Banks, saw family all up in the Northeast. Now I'm heading back down. I'm going to go to the Conowingo Dam and photo the eagles, and then I'm going to stop back home, do a few things, and then take a trip out west along Route 66, and I can't wait. And I have no desire for any other RV than this one because of the way it's set up.
And I like this size. You know, it's 24 feet. It's about 7.5 feet wide, but then you got this 3-foot slide. That thing is massive when it's out. It is unbelievable. I like the fact that it's still livable when the slide is in. But you don't have to tow. I noticed you don't tow a car behind you.
Oh yeah, you don't need to. You know, you can maneuver this RV around in any gas station, any grocery store. It's gonna, you know, park very easily. It's not a big rig. You're not towing anything. And again, like I said before, you still get the functionality of a really big RV. You know, I was at family's last night and we had 5 people in here and they loved it. So it just works really well. The size is right, and you know, it has plenty of storage, and it's beautiful on the inside too.
And it's good to feature something like this on the channel. I do mostly like van tours, right? And vans don't have exterior storage. You know, it's in the back doors. There's no like compartments on the outside. And they don't have slide out. So it's good, like, as a comparison to see what you get. And I know the Sprinter chassis was pretty important to you because there are other chassis choices available in the market. You're getting between 14 and 16 miles a gallon, which is great. Yeah. What's great about the Mercedes, even though it is more expensive to maintain, the service intervals is much longer. So, for example, you get the Ford chassis, the 450 chassis. Yeah. You know, every 5,000 miles you're going in for oil change. It's going to cost you about $87 per oil change. On something like this, it's going to cost you $350 per oil change, which is every 20,000 miles. Right, right. I think the other advantage for me is that when you drive on the highway, and this RV is fully laden, when you're doing 65 and you hit the gas, there is a lot of power. And yet you're still getting this efficiency. And for me, the engine is very quiet, very smooth. It downshifts, you barely notice. It's a 7-speed transmission. You don't notice when it shifts from gear to gear. It's a fleet vehicle. It's a workhorse vehicle. And it's the right motor for me. I love it. And then there, I know some of the viewers are probably just dying to, for one, hear the train horn. Okay. And for two, like, maybe see the slide in. What it's like sure, we can do that. Yeah. It's very important to leave a window or a door open when you bring the slide in. Because the gaskets are so tight, you want it to be able to not make it struggle to come in with the pressure inside the cab. It's also very important to hold down that button and make sure that the motors sync when you're done bringing the slide in or out. So now, with the slide in, you can see how much room there is. I can easily get to the refrigerator. I can use the kitchen. You can open the drawers. There's a good aisle here that's even bigger than any B-Class. You can get to the bathroom very easily. And I use it a lot like this. I just, maybe I'm tired, I pull into the parking spot and I just convert this to the bed, and it's still highly functional with the slide in. Now, we did talk about the train horn outside, so I want to demonstrate it for you. Here we go. It's really fun. It works really well, and it's a great safety feature. Patrick, thanks for having me on today. If you guys want to follow me on my journeys, look at the link below to my Insta. Thanks so much, Patrick. I'll see you.